It's Mejia May.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Danny Mejia, aka Mejia Made. Today, I'm back with another sample flip challenge. How it works is I'm gonna go to the website sampling.io and I only get 10 chances to find a sample. So let's get into it. All right, y'all. So I'm here at the website. I'm gonna go through my 10 samples, and when I find one, I'm gonna get back to y'all. All right, y'all. So I went through all my 10 samples. I ended up going with this sample, John Sari Nicole. Came out in 1979. Let's head back into the DAW and take a listen to what it sounds like. All right, y'all, so now let's go ahead and get started with this breakdown. The first thing we're going to start off with are the drums. So for the drums, rather than like me playing them myself, I decided to go through my own drum kit and kind of see what type of drum breaks I had. So I ended up coming across this one. Let's take a listen to what it sounds like. So as you guys can see, I did decide to only loop those first two bars. There are a couple of things I did to the drum break though. So first off is I stretched the drum break down to 68 BPM, which is the BPM set for this beat. Originally, this is how fast the drums were. But then after I time stretched it, they now sound like this. So after I had time stretched it to the BPM of the beat, there are two other things I did. The first thing, I turned on this normalize button over here in the pre-computed effects. The next thing I did, which I think adds a lot of grit to the drums, I turned on this clip button over here and then I boosted it by 11%. Let's go ahead and start digging into the effects. The first thing I added is this fruity parametric EQ. I wanted a little bit more low end from the drums, so what I did is give it about a 2 decibel boost over at 52 hertz. I also wanted to add some light clipping to the drums, so I went ahead and used this fruity soft clipper. Y'all cannot go wrong with stock FL plugins, guys. So let me go ahead and take both of these plugins off and listen to what the drums sound like. And after. So as y'all can tell, there is a little bit more low end added to the drum break. So after I had the foundation of the beat, which is the drums, I decided to start chopping up the sample. The VST I used to loop this sample is Serato sample. There are some things I did to this sample though. So the first thing I did is I lowered down the semitones by -7. And then the other thing I did, usually when you open up Serato sample, this sync button is left turned on as well as this chain right over here. So I decided to turn both of those buttons off and the sample now sounds like this. This is now what it sounds like. So it goes really well with those hard, gritty drums. So let's really quickly listen to what we have so far, which are the drums and the sample. So that was a really good foundation, but I knew I wanted to add some more sounds to it. So now this is the next sound I added. So now this lower octave piano plays every 2 bars. So the VST I use for this piano comes from Contact. I used the Noir Felt library and I put it at the Gentle Dark preset. Now let's go ahead and dig into the effects for this piano. So the first thing I did, because I knew I wanted to add an 808 into this beat, I had to make way for the 808. One way you guys can do that is by using this Shep 73 plugin by Waves. Basically what you want to do is go to stereo, for mode put MS, and what I did is I lowered the mid down to about -6 decibels. And then I went ahead and boosted up the sides by about 2 decibels. The next plugin I added is RC20. So I went ahead and hit the initialize preset, which basically means just to start from scratch. I turned on the wobble and put it to about 15%. And then I went ahead and turned on the magnetic to about 35%. So now moving on to the 808, just like that piano that I just played, it's just one note that plays throughout the entire beat. And this is what it sounds like. Let's go ahead and just play the piano and 808 so we can hear how they both work together. After I had added the 808, I wanted to add just another little sound to make the beat a little bit more interesting. So I went ahead and added this right here. Let's go ahead and dig into the effects for this chop right over here. The only thing I added is this RC20 retro color. The only thing I did is turn up this magnetic button right over here to about 50%. And then the last thing I did, I deducted a lot of that low one all the way up to 278 hertz. After that, I felt like that drum break was just a little bit too repetitive. So I wanted to add a sound to make the beat a little bit more interesting. I went ahead and chopped up this tom loop. For the toms, I didn't add any effects. After I had laid that out, I thought the beat was missing just a little bit more texture. So once again, I was scrolling through all my different drum kits and I ended up coming across this one shot. Because I only wanted to use this one shot for texture, it originally came with a bunch of low end, so I had to cut all of that out. I used this REQ by Waves and I cut it all the way to about 470 hertz. Going back to textural sounds, for the verse section, I went ahead and added these chimes. So once I got to this point, I thought the beat was pretty much done, but then I decided to go back to the sample and just try to see if I could find any little part that could fit on top of that piano loop. I was going through the sample and then I came across this part. So for this part of the sample, I did decide to open up another version of Serato sample because I did want to tweak the sample itself. For this one, there are two differences that I did. The first thing I did is raise up the sample by a whole semitone, which brought it up all the way to +5 semitones. I left the sync button off, but I did turn on this chain button. And the effects are different as well. For this one, I decided to add this original fruity parametric EQ. I was just scrolling through the different presets to try to see if I could get just a different feel for this particular chop. So that was it for this sample flip challenge. Let me know in the comment section what y'all thought of this beat. I'm gonna go ahead and play the beat in full just so we can hear everything in context.
It's Mahia May.
Alright y'all, so that was it for this sample flip challenge. What I really like about this beat is that it came out to be this really hard, gritty boom bap beat, something that Benny the Butcher or Westside Gunn would go crazy over. If y'all gained any type of insight from this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment. It's really gonna help the channel grow. If you guys are new to the channel, I put out 4 videos a month. That's 2 beat breakdowns. I break down my own samples and I also do sample flip challenges just like I did today. With that being said, I'm gonna catch y'all next week for a new video. Until then, stay blessed.